So we did the waffle making with Marie, and now we're gonna do the bread making with Noel.
Yes.
All right. So let's go, Noel.
Why is it that you're not making your own bread? So let's get started. Shika,
Yes.
you're gonna be doing your bread as well.
Yes, I will.
Okay, so this is my container, and I'm gonna measure out 2.5 cups of flour. This is plain flour that I'm using, and each of these cups is equivalent to about 125 grams. So I'm using, let me take a little bit more, 2.5, so 2.5, yeah, that's about it, yeah. And then I'm gonna be using,
And then Chica is gonna put her flour as well.
yeah, so I'm gonna let you put your stuff as well, Shika. You go ahead. And so that's 1. 2
2.5.
and a half, yeah. A little more, yeah. Yeah, and you need that. So, oops, half a cup. Yeah, that's about it. And pretty much, I'm just trying to, notice I'm stressing how simple this thing is. You're gonna just knead it just like how you'd be making your dumpling. The dough is gonna be a little bit softer. So what we're gonna be adding now, we're gonna be adding some activated yeast. And let me say this, with the yeast, you can do it, you can proof the yeast. What do I mean by proofing the yeast? You can actually pour the yeast in a container, and you pour some water on it, give it a stir it for maybe about 10-15 seconds, leave it for about 5 minutes until the yeast just rise right up to the level of the container. That's how you proof yeast. We're not going to be doing that today. We're just going to keep it as simple as possible. So, oh my goodness, where's my yeast? I need my yeast. Where is it? All right. While we're getting the yeast, again, we're going to add some flaxseed in it just to give it a bit of fiber. And these are just additional stuff that you can add to your bread. You can put some raisin in if you want. Some people go as far as even blending a piece of banana. Another thing that makes your bread taste really, really, really nice, and it pretty much give you a cut above the rest, is adding things like desiccated coconut in your bread. It give it a completely different flavor. And you want your bread to be something that is complete. So like I said, I'm not even measuring this. I'm just gonna add some flaxseed to it. You can add some as well. Yeah, I've added my flaxseed. So now I'm gonna be adding, this is instant yeast. Yeah, so I'm gonna be adding 3 tablespoons of that. 1, 2.
You can just add it to mine for me.
Okay, yeah, I'll just do that for you as well. It's 1, 2, and 3. That's it. Now, I think we might get a little bit controversial because we're going to be using a bit of sugar. But we have to, having used the yeast, we have to add some sugar. And the reason why we add the sugar, and if you notice most bread recipe, they would have sugar in it. And this is, the yeast will feed on the nutrients of the bread. So the sugar sort of counteract that sort of effect. So that is why we're going to be adding a bit of sugar, just to prevent that from happening. Because at the end of the day, you want to have a slice of bread that is almost like a complete meal. It has everything in it. And again, these are just additional stuff that we're adding. I'm going to be adding a little bit of molasses to the bread again. And we know that molasses is something that is very nutrient dense, especially if it's blackstrap molasses. It's very rich in iron and quite a few other minerals. So we're just adding some molasses to the bread as well. Okay. Look, vanilla, because we want your bread to taste nice, to have some amount of flavor in it as well. So we're gonna put a few dash of vanilla in it. These things are not necessary, but you know, we can still use them. So let me just go back quickly and just give you a quick summary. The basic ingredients that we're using: flour, yeast, salt, and a little bit of sugar. That's all you really need for your bread. It is as simple as that. Flour, yeast, salt, sugar. But you can add whatever you want to it. If you want to add a few, you know, raisins, you can also do that. No problem with that. All right?
And what is this you're adding?
Okay, I'm adding some of the good old Himalayan salt. Notice I didn't say sea salt, Himalayan salt, because this salt is mined from the earth. They mine it from the earth just like rock and crush it. And it's very, very rich in minerals. So on our basic recipe, we've got how much? 2 teaspoons of salt. Right. So that's it. Right. Right. What else do you think we need now, Chica?
The water.
Water. So we're gonna add some water to it, and note this again. If you want the bread to rise quickly, then one thing that you have to use is warm water. You can't use cold water.
Okay.
You cannot use boiling water as well. So the water should be warm but not too hot. All right. So this one. Okay. All right. So we're gonna dilute our water, and
So this is the hot, and then you pour some.
So this
cold.
was hot water and this is regular water.
Yeah. Still feel that. You just want it to be a little above I would say about 50. I think it's about 55 degrees, somewhere about Fahrenheit. You don't want it to be too hot. All right, nowhere near boiling. All right. So here we go. How much water do we need for a loaf like this? We're gonna need about 375 mils of water.
You're just gonna add it like you do flour.
Yeah, but we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna make it just like when you're making your dumpling at home. We're just gonna be adding water as is necessary or needed. All right. Right. Where's my? Okay.
Add more water.
Yeah, we're adding a bit more water to it, just to get your dough to the right consistency. One other thing that we're going to be doing as well, we will be preheating the oven, because what normally happens after you finish making the bread, you'd normally put it to rise. Maybe let it stay and till it takes shape in the thing. But we're not going to be going through that long laborious process today. What we're going to be doing is we're just going to be preheating the oven and put the bread in the tin and leave it there maybe for about 20 minutes so it can take shape and get to the consistency. Wow, Chika doing well.
Yeah.
Chika, is this your first time making bread?
Yes, it is.
Wow, wow. Mom.
Doing a good job, eh?
Yeah, she's much more advanced now. Let me see. One other thing you can do. Notice we didn't use the oil.
Yeah.
What you can do is you can just add a little bit of oil, just to keep it from so you want when you finish the container clean.
Oh.
So
That's the only reason for the coconut oil?
No, you can. It helps to soften the loaf as well. Some years ago, there was an article out that was in the UK where they found that they were actually using they were using human hair, and they were I don't remember what process the hair was put through, but some liquefying took place, and then that was being used. They found out that there was a particular ingredient that was used in the bread that was from human hair, and that was like that was used to sort of give the bread a sort of soft, sort of spongy texture. Yeah, I don't know if it's still being done today. Shika, I'm in a bit of trouble, so I'm gonna add a little bit more.
It's too wet.
Yeah. Let me see yours. Yeah, I can take a little bit more. Just a little bit more.
So if it's a little too soft.
Yeah, you can always add a little bit more.
Alright.
Still need more.
Huh? Oh, that's good. That is good.
Talk to us about kneading the dough.
That is good. So, one of the reasons why we are trying to knead the dough and trying to knead it as much as possible. All right, you see Shika's one. That one is almost perfect. I'm still kneading mine. You know, sometimes when you cut a slice of bread, you see this big pocket inside the bread. This is what we're trying to avoid here.
Okay.
And that is why you keep
Kneading.
Yeah, you just keep kneading. Just keep kneading the dough.
Kneading the dough. And I have a little. You want to get it perfect.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be wet any at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. And in most factories, bakeries rather, they wouldn't bother with all this process. They just put the correct quantity in the mixer,
Yeah.
and the only time you'll be touching the bread is after the machine would actually mix the bread. After it mix the dough, then it would actually cut them into the correct size, the weight, whether it's a 2-pound loaf or a 3-pound loaf. And then that's the only time you mix. You start to do a little. You make sure you turn it over on the sieve, and I'm gonna show you how to turn the bread over on its seam, so you don't get the bread having this big split in the middle and the top. So I'm gonna show you how to avoid that as well.
This is a workout to activate arms.
Yeah. This is good exercise. This is good exercise. I mean, gone were the days where we used to use a bread maker where we just put in the ingredients, plug it in, put the ingredients in, and we would just leave it like that. We just leave it. It would mix, and then it mixed and it stopped. Then it mixed again, and everything. The process would take about 4 hours. But in the end, you'd go there and get the bread out of it. The bread would be properly baked and all of that. But I remember I was talking to a friend, and he said, "No, well, when you do that, man, you take the fun out of making bread. We love to knead the bread, you know." So
Like dumpling.
yeah, so we got rid of our bread making machine. I don't even know who we had given it to. And we started using our hands, and yeah.
How is the texture
No,
now?
the texture is good.
So how do you know when the texture is good?
You notice? You notice it's coming back up?
Yes,
Yeah.
You press
Is
it. It okay.
It's getting there.
All
It's
right.
getting there.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, is this happening as well?
Do it again?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
And of course, you know that he's active inside this bread as well. Yeah. All right. So Shika, you're tired.
Tired.
Good exercise. Good exercise. Perseverance, endurance. You know, Sister White said there's a lot of lesson to learn.
To learn from everything.
Yeah, from a loaf of bread.
Oh, from
Yeah, there's
bread
a lot of
making.
So you know, this is,
Patience.
yes.
can't wait to eat this bread later with my tea, you know.
Oh my goodness.
Looking forward.
And these are regular flour that we've used. If you're gluten intolerant, you can use this flour. It's called spelt. Spelt has a bit of gluten in it,
Yeah,
but
stretchy.
it's much it's much less gluten than the regular flour. So you can use spelt, or you can use another one that's called something like, is it Russian wheat? Yeah, those are the
What
original.
about the rye flour?
You can use rice. I think rice still have a bit of
RYE, right?
yeah, right, yeah, rice still have a bit of
Gluten.
gluten in it, just like the spelt, but it's much better. It's much better to use. Right, so what we're gonna do now, we're just gonna clean our surface because we're gonna be kneading the bread on the surface. This is a final process before we place it in the tin. All right, so we're gonna give our surface a final clean again just before we start this process.
Then.
And one of the sure way of cleaning your surface is to use things like hydrogen peroxide. You can also use the white vinegar, or you can use a bit of baking soda water. We've done some preliminaries already, so we're just doing the final cleaning just before we place the bread onto this surface. All right, so we're gonna take our bread out from our dough rather. We're gonna place it. Right, so what we're trying to do is to get all the seam out the top.
The seam.
Yeah.
The
So,
lines.
yeah, that's the lines, yeah, the seams. We call it a seam. Right, look at this now. If you notice, if you should put the bread in the tin like this, when it breaks, it's just gonna fall into two pieces.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you always have to ensure that the seam stays at the bottom. All right, so we're gonna give it its final neat now, Tashika. So this is where you'll have to apply some energy.
All right.
Yep.
Mercy. All right.
What's that, dude?
So kneel it around and slap some the
Yeah,
hair.
yeah, just make sure you get all the crease, everything out. It's like we're almost ironing the dough. So you get a very smooth finish.
How you managing, Tashika?
Trying.
You need a Tashika?
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right, so
Alright, so this is more like it? Yours is more like it?
yeah, I think mine is almost there. Daniel, if you get the tins ready for us in the meantime. All right, so we try to see, get all the seams under to the bottom. Yeah.
It's like you're folding it
Yeah, it's
up.
like you're folding it under.
It's a lot of work.
And you can put sunflower seed in it, you can put pumpkins. There's just so many different things that you can add to your bread. Don't get carried away with the bread that you buy in the supermarket and say, wow, this is it. You can tailor your bread to your nutritional requirements. Alright, so I think this is, that's it.
Yeah.
And when you touch it, it's going to lift. Wow. Touch it again, please. Yes. Rising.
Okay, so yeah, so these are ready for the tin. So the last thing that we're going to be doing now, one of the things that can be done, like I said, we're trying to make this as simple as possible and very time saving as well. So this, you could just put this in a bowl, in the same mixing bowl that we've used, and just cover over with a towel, and you leave it for maybe 2 hours. And then when you come back, you'd shape it again, and then you put it in the tin, and put it in the oven. We're gonna bypass that process. We're gonna make it simple as we possibly can. So what we're gonna be doing now, Tashika, we're gonna just grease these these two baking pans, and we're gonna be putting them. Hold on, Daniel. Just get a little piece of napkin.
Thank you.
Right,
I'm
so
just white.
yeah. Here just to, and again we're using coconut oil.
Right.
And we can yes, we can also use, Daniel just mentioned we can use the spray as well. Yeah, we can use the spray to spray the tin if necessary. We just preheated the oven. So, Shika, here we go again. So what we're going to be doing now, we're going to shape the bread to put in the oven. Notice what I've done now? So you just
So you're
gonna,
making it.
like you're squashing the side, yeah. And look. Okay.
You're the expert.
No, you're doing well. You're doing very well. You're doing very well. Oh, you're bringing the one mistake you're making here. See, you created a crease in the arm, so let's just reshape it again and start.
Has to be smooth.
Yeah, you can't create any seam in the top of it, otherwise it will just open with a long split. So we do this and then just start to shape it for the tip. Yeah, and you know what? When you're doing Easter bun, it's not much different. You know, there's not much different. There's not much difference to doing things like Easter bun as well. So you notice the seam.
Is at the bottom?
Yes, stays at the bottom. Right. This is important. So get it in, and now you can yeah. What you're just gonna do is just start to press it out
To the shape of the pan.
to the shape of the pan, to take the shape of the pan. Right. Yeah, and you normally press, notice? Yeah. Yeah, this is a fan assisted oven, and these are the best ovens to because it's spread, it's evenly distribute the heat throughout the oven. So this is very good. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to switch the oven off. And Shika, if you just bring those over, we're going to put them right in the oven. Bread in the oven, baking. Yeah. And we're going to leave those maybe for about 20 minutes.
So what
And
did
we'll-
you do? You put it in
We
the...
preheat the oven
Yeah,
for about 5 minutes.
Right.
And then we put them in there. The reason why we put them in the...
And you put them in and turn off the heat.
Yeah, we turn the heat up because we're not ready to bake yet. So we're just going to let them rise. All right. And so when we come back, it should look like bread.
So how much
In the-
minutes?
We're going to give it maybe about... We're going to watch it. We're going to watch it. We're going to give it about 20 to 25 minutes. And it should be ready to bake after that.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right.
So we'll be back in a little while. Take a look. So we have them in the oven now for about what, 30 minutes?
Rise
So-
nicely.
Yeah, so they're ready to they're ready to bake. And we're gonna give it about 30 minutes.
Okay, after
All right.
more, not
Yeah.
long.
That's it.
Celsius, that is. They are.
Yeah, like I said, this is a fan assisted oven. Perfect oven for
Oh, the
baking bread.
fan assist.
Yeah,
So it spread the heat
evenly around.
Okay.
Right.
Alright, so we'll leave it to bake now.
Right, let's have a look at them now, then. See where they are. Wow.
Wow.
Those breads are baking.
You're ready.
They're not baking anymore, Dan. They are finished.
They're not baking.
They're ready. No,
Does
they're
that
ready.
mean
So that's Tashika's one. This is mine. So you notice, even though we press them down, they still come. Now, just wash my hands.
So you
This is
test it like that?
It's very tough.
Firm.
Yeah. If you just leave it like this, when you're cutting it, you top it,
The sink.
the crust is gonna be tough like rock cake. So what we normally do is this. I'm gonna show you what we normally do.
So right now we're brushing the bread with a little coconut oil so as to keep the bread moist and prevent it from drying out and being rough and hard. Alright? And as you can see, we're wrapping the bread with the cling wrap. And here we have one that is already wrapped nicely. Alright? And here we have the perfect bread ready to eat. Alright? And you can store it just like that. Alright?
Tashika, I'm gonna give this knife to you and extend this special privilege
Okay.
of cutting this bread.
Yes.
I'll try my best.
You cut it.
They said the proof is in the taste, so let's see.
So you cut the bread. Bread. One way. Sure.
Yes, I'm gonna use a bit of peanut butter.
Yes.
Now, have you noticed the texture?
Yes.
You notice how rich this is in fiber? Shika, go ahead.
So she's gonna taste
With peanut butter.
and tell us.
Or
I
by
want to taste it.
itself,
Yeah,
yeah.
taste it by itself and tell me how before. Talk the truth.
It tastes like bread, brown bread.
Okay. And Abby, I'm gonna taste it
But
too.
it has a lot of nuts or you can
Seeds.
it's a fiber. Rich in fiber.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for joining us today. I hope that you learned a lot from the combination with Eden Revive and the Woodford Health Ministries Department. All right. So until next time, take care and healthful living. Adios. Bye.